General Hospital spoilers for the week of May 5 to 9 reveal that Drew Kane will want revenge while Max Scorpio kicks off a criminal investigation. Jocelyn Jacks will also carry out a bold strategy. So here's what GH fans can look forward to. Professor Henry Hank Dalton couldn't give Jocelyn much encouragement when it came to scoring the research assistant gig, but failure isn't an option since her WSB mission is on the line. That's why Jocelyn will get creative when it comes to nabbing the position anyway. Of course, that'll put Jocelyn in conflict with Emma Scorpio Drake. So things could get complicated as they both fight for what they want. Emma seems to have an agenda of her own, so it'll be interesting to see how much Jocelyn figures out about that. Regardless, Jocelyn will hope her bold tactic pays off as she works to impress Professor Dalton in the coming episodes. Next, let's talk about Rocco Falconeri, since it looks like he may uncover some shocking info about his big brother's adoption. Will Rocco spill the beans to Dante Falconeri about his biological son with Brooklyn Quartermain? Rocco could end up facing a major decision, and Danny Morgan may get dragged into the drama if he's with Rocco when this discovery is made. In the meantime, Drew will want revenge following the cheating setup. After Drew pushes Willow Corinthos to believe he was framed, he'll take some furious steps toward payback. Will Nina Reeves land on the hot seat as a result? Will Drew suspect Nina was the mastermind of the fake cheating operation? And once Mac gets updates on a crime, he'll launch an investigation. It's possible that'll involve Drew wanting his drugging fiasco investigated as he tries to salvage his reputation. Next, fans will see the aftermath of Kai Taylor's surgery. Kai has been making plenty of confident predictions, too confident if you ask us. Soap Law tells us that Kay's probably going to wake up to a disastrous outcome since he was so hopeful this would work. The show's been stressing the risk of paralysis when it comes to Kyle's procedure, so he could end up far worse than before. Trina Robinson will be there for Kai no matter what, but it could be tough to watch him suffer. Finally, Jack Brennan will continue to support Carly Spencer as she worries about the threat to Sunny's safety. Brennan will do his part to help find out who's responsible, but can he truly be trusted? Jason Morgan may. General Hospital spoilers say the week of May 5 to 9 will bring some huge plans, surprising news, and heated confrontations, so stay tuned. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, Messy Syrup. It's me, Abby, here. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Keep watching, so let's dive into today's video. General Hospital spoilers for Wednesday, April 30 reveal that Willow Corinthos will make a horrifying Drew Kane discovery, while Carly Spencer shocks Jason Morgan. Nina Reeves will also struggle with some regrets, so here's what GH fans will see next. For starters, Portia Robinson will report back to Nina and insist her plan to hire Jacinda was pure genius. Drew went wild at the Savoy and got caught on camera doing body shots off Jacinda, so Portia will make more positive predictions about their scheme. Although Portia will be there to remind Nina that Drew left them no choice, but Nina will still worry about Willow's imminent heartache. Willow will come home from her trip to Germany, so horrifying discovery will be waiting on her when she does. It looks like Willow will find Drew and Jacinda in a compromising position, just like Nina planned. Jacinda will make it seem like Drew slept with her, but Drew will be fuzzy on what happened last night due to the ketamine he was given. Willow's going to be crushed and furious, but Drew should eventually start to suspect he was drugged and set up. As for Curtis Ashford, he'll give Laura Collins updates on Drew's actions at the Savoy. Curtis will suggest that Laura's problem may have been solved by Drew himself, since Drew's actions are going to reflect badly on him as well as his allies. Next, Lulu Spencer will ask if she can interview Alexis Davis. So they may end up talking about Alexis reconnecting with Sam McCall later in life and the baggage of her Cassadine family history. At the hospital, Trina Robinson will have some last-minute concerns about Kai Taylor moving ahead with his risky surgery. Although Trina will remind Kai that he can stop this at any time, he may insist he's all in and hold out hope that he can ultimately play football again. Following Carly's trip to Los Angeles, she'll fill Jason in on what almost happened to Sonny Corinthos. If Brick had shown up 5 seconds later, Sonny would have been a goner. Carly will share that shocking news with Jason and hear Jack Brennan's theory, so we'll see if Brennan suspects Jen Sidwell is behind the hits or someone else. General Hospital has painted Drew into in the April 29 episode, Nina's plan to drug her former, and her daughter Willow's current, lover in hopes of obtaining photos of him in a compromising position went even better than she could have expected. Hopped up on ketamine, the congressman escorted call girl Jacinda to the Savoy, where he very publicly proceeded to make out with her and slurp body shots out of her belly button. All while Lulu recorded the debauchery on her cell phone. In theory, the drug-fueled shenanigans should mark the end of Drew. What constituency wants an elected official who parties with a hooker and flaunts the fact that he's cheating on the significant other that he stole from his nephew, right? The ick factor is so high as to give people nosebleeds. When Willow finds out that her beloved has been painting the town, and this is how he repays her trust in him. With Nina whispering in Willow's ear, "You were always too good for him," she's likely to read Ol' Loverboy for filth and write him off entirely. Unless, well, there is a chance that, having gone this far to be with Drew, Willow will double down and believe him when he says that he doesn't know what came over him. She might even investigate, to the point that she discovers her mother's involvement in the fiasco. If that happens, heaven help us, there will be no separating Willow and Drew. What's your prediction for the next leg of this story? Cast your vote in the poll below. General Hospital has painted Drew into quite the corner this time, and we have a sneaking suspicion that he isn't going to be able to get back out of it. All while Lulu recorded the debauchery on her cell phone. In theory, the drug-fueled shenanigans should mark the end of Drew. What constituency wants an elected official who parties with a hooker and flaunts the fact that he's cheating on the significant other that he stole from his nephew, right? The ick factor is so high as to give people nosebleeds. When Willow finds out that her beloved has been painting the town red with another woman, that's exactly the color that she's likely to see. Willow has risked literally everything to go all in with Drew, and this is how he repays her trust in him? With Nina whispering in Willow's ear, "You were always too good for him," she's likely to read Ol' Loverboy for filth and write him off entirely. Unless, well, there is a chance that, having gone this far to be with Drew, Willow will double down and believe him when he says that he doesn't know what came over him. She might even investigate, to the point that she discovers her mother's involvement in the fiasco. If that happens, heaven help us, there will be no separation. In the April 29 episode, Nina's plan to drug her former, and her daughter Willow's current, lover in hopes of obtaining photos of him in a compromising position went even better than she could have expected. Hopped up on ketamine, the congressman escorted call girl Jacinda to the Savoy, where he very publicly proceeded to make out with her and slurp body shots out of her belly button. What's your prediction for the next leg of this story? Cast your vote in the poll below. While you're here, don't you think that maybe, just maybe it's time for Nina to get a hobby besides meddling in Willow's affairs? Check out the below photo gallery of potential new love interests for Nina. In her office, Portia called Nina and questioned whether they were really ready to go through with drugging Drew. "We sure are. I have the ketamine and our trap is set. We just have to decide when and where to lure Drew into it," Nina said. Just then, Drew stormed into Portia's office, insisting they needed to talk. Portia hung up to deal with Drew. Do I need to remind you that I hold your career and your relationship in my hands? And right now, they're both hanging by a thread, Drew warned. Portia claimed it wasn't easy to get Curtis to change course once he had made up his mind. Especially when it comes to you. And I have tried repeatedly, Portia said. Drew insisted that Portia keep trying because he had another demand. He wanted Curtis to have Aurora do multiple hit pieces on Sunny. The referendum on the Esplanade is really just a referendum on Sunny, Drew explained. Portia reminded Drew that Curtis would never go against Laura. In the Q solarium, Jason walked in on the conversation between Tracy, Emma, and Gio. Oh, Jason, I was just telling Gio about some of the suffering that Sunny has wrought on this family over the decades, Tracy said with a smile on her face. Gio explained that Tracy was supporting the campaign to steal Sunny's peers. Emma spoke up in Sunny's defense. Please don't do this. You said yourself that you owed me for helping save your family's crypt from being bulldozed by Drew Kane, she said. Suddenly, Tracy got an idea that involved Drew. She called him and interrupted his argument with Portia. I assure you, it will be of the utmost importance to you, Tracy said. Drew was all ears. After Tracy hung up with Drew, Emma was disgusted that Tracy would work with a man who nearly had her parents' graves bulldozed. Gio tried to defend Sunny again, but Tracy told him that Sunny was much more than the man Gio had seen on the surface. Drew and Tracy met at the Port Charles Grill. Drew was all ears when he learned that Tracy wanted to join his fight to take Sunny's peers. Tracy wanted to put their differences aside and work together. Drew had a price for his efforts, the Quartermain name. Tracy agreed to Drew's terms, but only if the referendum passed. Nina welcomed Jacinda to her pretty pastel apartment. She handed Jacinda the vial of ketamine. Here is what you will use to drug Drew Kane, Nina said. She promised Jacinda that the ketamine was pharmacy grade. I want Drew to have a night he never remembers and a night that everyone in Port Charles will never forget, Nina added. Portia then called and told Nina that Drew was headed to the Port Charles Grill, so Nina sent Jacinda there to get the job done. Portia then stopped by so Nina could assure her that everything was going to plan. Wiley, Amelia, and Scout were sleeping at her place, so Drew's dawn of day house was empty. This is going to break my daughter's heart, but I have to believe that in the end, it's all going to be worth it, Nina sighed. Back at the Port Charles Grill, Drew ordered a drink from the waiter. When the bartender placed it on the bar, Jacinda laced it with ketamine before Drew was served his drink. She texted Nina to tell her it was done, as Nina and Portia braced themselves for the fallout. As for Drew, he went on and on about how much he looked forward to tearing Sunny apart piece by piece. After Tracy left, Jacinda approached Drew, who told her his drink seemed a little too strong. However, he said he felt good. I'm getting better all the time, he said before asking Jacinda her name. Jacinda wasted no time asking Drew to go somewhere more fun, so they headed to the Savoy. However, Drew downed the rest of his drink first. At the Savoy, Curtis promised Jordan he wouldn't ask any more questions about her new job. Good, 'cause it's not like we're still married, and I owe you any. Curtis warned his ex-wife that this wasn't going to be an easy task, and bringing down Sidwell was dangerous. You're looking at it the wrong way, Curtis. It's not whether I can handle Sidwell. It's whether Sidwell can handle me, she said. When Portia arrived, she tried not to have a reaction as Jordan and Curtis told her that Jordan would be working with Drew as part of her new job with Sidwell. At the bar, Professor Dalton flirted with Anna. He wanted to know all about her job as police commissioner, but Anna wasn't interested in talking about work. Jocelyn sat with a drink and watched them from the other end of the bar. When Anna spotted Jordan deep in conversation with Curtis, she decided to call it a night. Jordan tried to get Drew to leave with her, but he was ready for body shots using Jacinda's body. Portia called Mena to inform her of what was happening. This is going better than we'd hoped. Much better. It's clear that General Hospital's Emma Scorpio Drake is hiding something much bigger than an arrest for breaking into an animal testing lab and accidentally assaulting a security guard. She wouldn't be so spooked if it were just about that. What if she is hiding something much bigger that could rock her grandmother's world? Back when Emma was a tween, she already showed her thirst for adventure when she joined Robert and Anna on a caper in Europe. When she recently told Anna that she felt she was more like her grandmother than her mother, Robin, we began to suspect that Emma was trying to give Anna a hint. Anna already tased Jack Brennan for merely talking to Emma, with many fans thinking she was overreacting. Maybe she was right to tase him without even knowing he had spoken with her granddaughter before, to recruit her for the WSB. There is something fishy going on at Port Charles University, and it could be related to even when they were kids. Emma and Jocelyn had a friendly rivalry that hasn't abated. They are still wary of one another while often trading barbs. That could set them up to be rival agents trying to outdo one another, or partners who finally learn to respect and appreciate each other. It can't be a coincidence that both Emma and Jocelyn just so happen to be in the same environmental physics class with Professor Henry Dalton. Was Emma also ordered to get a job as Professor Dalton's research assistant for the summer? If so, she is ahead of the game in impressing the professor, because he already asked her to apply while practically ignoring Jocelyn. If Jocelyn and Emma both become research assistants, they might compare notes and discover what the other is up to. Maybe that is Jack's ultimate plan: get Anna Devane's granddaughter and his new find, Jocelyn, working together for the WSB. However, when Anna and Carly find out what's really going on with these two young women, there may be hell to pay for Jack. General Hospital spoilers indicate that fans have been buzzing with speculation since the Monday, April 28 episode. Could Port Charles University professor Henry Hank Dalton be the Dawn of Day's Shiloh, who went by Hank Archer before his real name was revealed? Time to take a closer look at the character's history. General Hospital spoilers remind fans that Shiloh's birth name was David Henry Archer. However, he later went by the name Hank to rebel against his dad. When Shiloh first appeared on canvas, he introduced himself as Hank. Viewers can't shake the fact that Dawn of Day will reemerge in storylines after all the mentions of the cult recently. Some GH fans have even thought that Drew Kane might secretly be Shiloh, as he's exhibited control. Still, fans who took notice during the April 28 show have shifted their focus to Professor Dalton. After all, he encountered Anna Devane at the Savoy and noted, "I'm Henry Dalton, Hank," as he introduced himself to the stunning police commissioner. It's more than interesting that there's been a ton of Dodd references, plus a new character to enter the equation that goes by Henry and Hank, two names Shiloh once used. While Shiloh passed away in September 2019, this is the land of soaps, where anything is possible. As such, it wouldn't be overly shocking if Shiloh returned under a different face. Jason Morgan was the one behind Shiloh's demise, in self-defense of Sam McCall. So is it any coincidence that Dalton was in Anna's orbit, considering her friendship with Stone Cold? As Drew has been brainwashed before, is it possible that this new Shiloh is controlling Drew's mind to control Willow? Fans always need to expect the unexpected in the land of Port Charles. Could Henry Dalton be Dodd's Shiloh? If that's the case, what would he be up to? Drop a comment below. Watch the ABC Soap Daily to catch all the drama in Port Charles, and visit this site often for the best General Hospital news, updates, and spoilers. Daniel Goddard returned to soaps as Professor Dalton on General Hospital. Are you excited to see why Professor Dalton is in the crosshairs of the WSB? Here are some fun facts about his portrayer. Goddard was initially pursuing a degree in finance in Sydney, Australia. However, his passion for acting led him to leave his studies and enroll at the Ensemble Actor Studio, marking the beginning of his acting career. He worked as a model for renowned fashion brands, including Calvin Klein and Dolce & Gabbana. One of Goddard's first television roles was as Eric Phillips on the popular Australian soap opera Home and Away in 1995. Goddard gained international recognition for his role as Dar in the fantasy series Beastmaster from 1999 to 2002. The actor is married to Rachel Marcus. The couple tied the knot on February 3, 2002, and have two sons, Ford Martin, born in February 2006, and Sebastian William, born in December 2008. Goddard portrayed Kane Ashby on The Young and the Restless from 2007 to 2019. During his time on the show, his character and Crystal Culler's Lily became one of the most popular couples on Y, and R. Goddard also starred as Kane's twin brother Caleb Atkinson in the beginning of 2011, before the character was killed off after a 3-year hiatus from acting. Goddard returned to daytime television in 2025, joining the cast of GH as Henry Dalton, an environmental physics professor under investigation. In a pivotal storyline unfolding at General Hospital, Sonny Corinthos' long-anticipated heart surgery became the epicenter of a suspense-filled drama, setting the stage for betrayal, deception, and retaliation. As loved ones waited anxiously, top-tier surgeons worked with surgical precision to save the infamous mob figure. The operation was declared a success. Relief washed over those gathered. However, the real storm was just beginning. While Sonny recuperated, a covert assassination attempt occurred. A woman disguised as a nurse, Natalia, a trusted associate, approached with a syringe containing a lethal substance. Sonny's innate instincts triggered just in time. He overpowered the would-be killer and exposed her identity. Her tearful confession revealed she had been coerced by a powerful figure, Sidwell. Rather than exacting immediate revenge, Sonny made a calculated decision. She complied, setting in motion a tactical operation led by Sonny's most loyal allies, including Jason, Brick, and Spinelli. With Sonny presumed dead, Sidwell dropped his guard, expanding his criminal enterprise, unaware that every move was being tracked. Behind the scenes, Sonny orchestrated an intricate plan from the shadows. His grueling recovery included intense physical therapy, while his strategic mind focused on dismantling Sidwell's empire. Meanwhile, Natalia operated under strict surveillance, her safety guaranteed only by her continued usefulness. Once Sidwell's location, a fortified mansion, was confirmed, Sonny and a small strike team executed a stealth infiltration. The confrontation was swift and personal. Sidwell, caught off guard and defenseless, attempted negotiation. News of Sonny's survival spread rapidly. Fear gripped his enemies, and former allies reaffirmed their loyalty. Though Natalia was granted temporary freedom, her betrayal ensured permanent exile. The experience reshaped Sonny, no longer just a leader in the criminal underworld, but a man hardened by near-death and treachery. Simultaneously, General Hospital teases a chilling subplot that could reshape Port Charles. A new character, Professor Henry Hank Dalton, raised eyebrows with a name suspiciously linked to the late cult leader Shiloh Archer. During an April 28th encounter, Dalton's hesitant introduction, "I'm Henry Dalton. Hank," sparked speculation. Viewers quickly connected the dots. Was this an alias or a subtle resurrection? Theories abound. Some suggest Hank Dalton. Others believe Dalton may be a loyal disciple, resurrecting the dawn of day ideology. In both scenarios, a larger conspiracy is implied, one possibly involving psychological manipulation and subliminal conditioning. Drew Kane's recent behavioral shifts have also fueled suspicion. Some speculate he may be under mind control, potentially tied to Dalton's presence, with roots tracing back to Shiloh's manipulative tactics. This opens a narrative gateway to deeper psychological themes and legacy trauma. Adding further intrigue, Upcoming spoilers reveal that Jocelyn Jacks may uncover critical information about Dalton. Known for her investigative tenacity, Jocelyn's involvement could accelerate the unraveling of this potential cult resurgence, especially if evidence, artifacts, or encrypted messages links Dalton directly to Shiloh's legacy. The deliberate use of the name Hank suggests the General Hospital writers are orchestrating a slow-burn reveal. Whether Dalton is a reimagined villain or a puppet of a larger scheme, the stakes are escalating. The emotional and psychological consequences promise to be profound as past traumas resurface, and trust is tested. This layered arc, combining mob justice and psychological suspense, underscores the series' knack for merging personal redemption with high-stakes drama. As Sonny reclaims his dominion with renewed ferocity, and as Dalton's true identity looms, Port Charles braces for another wave of upheaval. Port Charles is once again the epicenter of emotional turbulence as Molly Lansing Davis confronts a cascade of betrayals that ultimately lead her to reunite with TJ Ashford and the child they had through surrogate Andrea Gates. What began as subtle doubts about family loyalty spirals into a full-scale reckoning, forcing Molly to sever ties and forge a new path forward. The turning point comes when Molly meets with her mother, Alexis Davis, at the Metro Court. Initially intended as a routine update, the meeting unravels into a shocking confession. Alexis reveals that Molly's sister, Christina Corinthos Davis, was involved in the hit-and run that left their father, Rick Lansing, hospitalized. Compounding the betrayal, Alexis admits to concealing the truth, even considering psychiatric intervention to shield Christina from legal consequences. This revelation fractures Molly's already tenuous trust. Unable to comprehend the deception, especially from her own mother, she withdraws emotionally and physically, seeking clarity away from those who failed her. Meanwhile, TJ Ashford is revealed to be secretly caring for the child he had with Molly, a child presumed lost due to Andrea's claim of miscarriage. When Molly unexpectedly contacts TJ, she is stunned to find him with the baby. What follows is an emotionally charged confrontation, where both face the consequences of hidden truths. TJ explains that Andrea had fabricated the miscarriage, driven by grief and a delusional desire to raise the child as her own. Determined to reclaim their son, TJ and Molly confront Andrea at her rental property. Law enforcement intervenes swiftly, arresting Andrea for kidnapping and child endangerment. Molly, overwhelmed yet resolute, embraces her child, marking a critical moment of restoration and emotional closure. Though family members plead for reconciliation, Alexis through repeated voicemails, Christina with apologies, and Rick with offers of support, Molly remains steadfast. She declines to reopen old wounds, choosing instead to prioritize healing and her immediate family. In the weeks that follow, Molly and TJ make the decisive move to leave Port Charles. They name their son Gabriel and depart quietly, leaving behind a town steeped in secrecy and fractured loyalty. Their departure is symbolic, a deliberate rejection of the chaos that once defined their lives, and a step toward building a future based on transparency and trust. Veteran actress Laura Wright, best known for her role as Carly Spencer on General Hospital, is stepping away from the show in a move that marks both a personal and professional turning point. Wright's departure, though temporary, carries significant weight for fans and the show's narrative direction, particularly given her central role in nearly all major storylines over the years. While Wright has not disclosed the specifics of her trip or time away, she decided the need for rest, personal balance, and creative renewal after years of nonstop work. Her absence arrives at a volatile moment in General Hospital, with her character Carly entangled in high-stakes conflicts involving key players like Nina, Ava, Michael, and Sunny. The temporary exit threatens to reshape the power dynamics in Port Charles, introducing uncertainty across deeply interconnected plot threads. From an industry perspective, Wright's move comes amidst broader behind-the-scenes instability at the show. The dismissal of several longtime cast members and creative shifts have reportedly contributed to a sense of disconnect for the actress, as the character of Carly has been increasingly pushed into recycled, overly dramatic scenarios. Wright has found herself grappling with creative fatigue and questioning the authenticity of her role. Physically and emotionally demanding, the portrayal of Carly has become more taxing as Wright confronts the natural limitations of aging and the psychological toll of maintaining a decades-long role under constant public scrutiny. Once invigorated by the complexity of Carly's character, Wright now faces the challenge of sustaining that passion in an environment that seems increasingly detached from the emotional depth and continuity that once defined the show. The possibility of Carly's permanent exit or reimagining has stirred speculation. Longtime viewers are questioning whether the character will be replaced, recast, or written out entirely. While the show has not confirmed any long-term plans, fans are already bracing for narrative disruptions, especially as Carly has served as the connective tissue among the Corinthos, Spencer, and Quartermaine families. Adding to the drama, rumors suggest that Wright's eventual return could coincide with the reintroduction of Wes Ramsey as Peter August, a character presumed gone. If true, the pairing of Carly with a former antagonist would signal a dramatic narrative pivot. Such a twist would challenge the loyalties and assumptions of other characters, including Sonny, Michael, and Jason, as Port Charles is drawn into a new era of betrayal, conspiracy, and unresolved vendettas. In Wright's absence, the writers are expected to leverage Carly's departure as a catalyst for upheaval. The vacuum she leaves could push previously secondary characters into leading roles, while also allowing the show to unearth buried secrets and ignite dormant conflicts. More than just a character stepping away, Carly's exit symbolizes a broader identity crisis for General Hospital, a moment where past loyalties, character legacies, and creative integrity are all under pressure. Ultimately, whether Laura Wright's return will rejuvenate the Carly Spencer legacy or lead to its transformation remains uncertain. What is clear is that her temporary departure is more than just a break. It is a narrative and emotional inflection point for a series at a creative crossroads. As Port Charles braces for the fallout, fans are left to contemplate not just who will fill the void, but what General Hospital will become without its longtime heart. On the Tuesday, April 29th episode of General Hospital, did anyone have flashbacks to the classic Libidosome storyline on All My Children? That story also featured Cameron Matheson as Ryan Lavery, who drinks too much of a spiked punch on his yacht and acts completely out of character. Now on GH, Matheson as dirty and smarmy Congressman Drew Cain is about to be taken down several notches as Nina and Portia initiate their plan to have the guy who has been threatening their lives in different ways. Portia gets the ketamine to Nina. Next, Nina gives the vial over to the sex worker, Jacinda, to somehow get Drew in a comprising position with it. Next, Drew and Jacinda end up at the Savoy, where everyone is out for a night out on the town. Perhaps the most entertaining part of the episode was the hilarious reaction shots of the cast as their characters are stunned as to what they are seeing going down with Drew's public display. Over at the bar, a drugged and drunk Drew calls out for shots. Jordan, who is standing with Curtis and Portia, says she has to stop this since she works for Sidwell, and he would be very disapproving of what is happening to Drew, so she tries to pry Drew away from Jacinda. However, that fails. Now, Drew has loosened his shirt and tie as he hikes Jacinda up to the bar to drink body shots off of her, while everyone looks on in distaste, including Lucas and Marco, who headed to the Savoy for some dancing. Jocelyn is also at the club spying and trying to get in the good graces of Professor Hank Dalton, and Lulu and Cody are sitting at a table talking. When the commotion begins, Lulu, who now has a job as a reporter, takes out her iPhone and begins to film Drew licking shots off of Jacinda on top of the bar. Portia and Curtis look on hoping this moment will go viral and get Drew out of everyone's hair. If you recall, Nina is expecting Willow to be back tomorrow from Germany, but something tells us from this week's promo, she will walk in on this and see exactly how Drew is acting, or will she? General Hospital spoilers indicate that Drew Kane has not been acting like himself for some time now. While there are several theories that could explain this, a brain tumor, Drew being traumatized by being beat up in prison, but another theory is that he is not actually Drew at all, that he is actually David Henry Archer, aka Shiloh, the long-thought dead cult leader of Dawn of Day, posing as Drew. The history of Kim Nero, Drew Kane, and Shiloh and Drew have history that goes way back. They knew each other when they served in Afghanistan. There were secrets that Shiloh was hiding and was afraid that Drew would remember. Kim Nero also has a history with both of them and was Drew's love interest for some time. She has been deeply in love with Drew for years. General Hospital spoilers update for Wednesday, April 30 reveals that Drew Kane will face an awful wake-up call while Jack Brennan divulges a suspect. Lulu Spencer will also conduct her next interview, so let's discuss what's coming up in Port Charles. Although Nina Reeves will second-guess her Drew trap on Wednesday's show, it's too late to stop it now. Drew's already made a very public scene and will ultimately land in a staged cheating situation thanks to Jacinda's great work. Willow Corinthos never imagined Drew would do something as hurtful as betray her with another woman, but it'll certainly seem like that's what happened when she comes home to chaos. Of course, Drew will be just as horrified when he awakens to a disgusted Willow. Although Drew won't recall much about last night, he may eventually gather some puzzle pieces and argue that he must have been framed. Meanwhile, Curtis Ashford will give Laura Collins updates on Drew spiraling out of control at the Savoy. It seems Drew's actions will become front-page news thanks to Lulu's phone camera and the story she plans to pitch. Curtis will hope that their Drew issues are over now that the congressman has made such a fool of himself. Next, Lulu will approach Alexis Davis for an interview, so she may get Alexis talking about her mother-daughter reunion with Sam McCall as an adult. Alexis will also do some venting at some point, so she may have some harsh things to say about the Cassadine family. Once Carly Spencer returns from Los Angeles, she'll tell Jason Morgan about Sonny Corinthos' close call at the hospital. Brick saved Sonny's life, but the outcome could have been far bleaker if he'd appeared just a few seconds after he did. Jason will hear about all the latest nurse drama and wish he'd been there to help protect Sonny too. As for Brennan, he'll have a theory to pass along. Brennan has already shown signs of being suspicious of Jen's Sidwell, so he might point the finger at him during a conversation with Carly. Whether Brennan thinks Sidwell or someone else is behind the ordered Sonny hits, he'll definitely do some speculating on Wednesday's GH episode. Finally, Trina Robinson will give Kai Taylor a chance to back out of his cutting-edge procedure, especially since there's so much at stake. Drop your thoughts in the comment section below. Curtis brings Laura up to speed on Drew's public display of indecency, while Portia and Nina high-five each other over it, and Willow is shocked at what she sees. The next General Hospital spoilers video for Wednesday, April 30, 2025, shows Drew on everyone's minds as Portia and Nina celebrate his public disgrace. Meanwhile, Curtis fills Laura in on the embarrassing incident, and Willow has an unpleasant homecoming. Portia informs Nina, "Your plan to hire Jacinda was pure genius." Hilarity ensued as a drugged Drew completely obliterated his life at the Savoy by fooling around with Jacinda for everyone to see and videotape. He's going to have a hard time recovering from that. Meanwhile, Curtis happily tells Laura, "Your Drew problem may have been solved by Drew himself." The weekly teasers state that Laura and Curtis confer, so obviously he will fill her in on Drew's public humiliation. Let's see if he can do that without laughing out loud. Trina tells Kai, "You can stop this at any time." Kay's in a hospital bed and ready to undergo the risky and experimental procedure to fix his spine, so Trina's concern is justified. But will he finally heed her warnings? Lulu asks someone, "Could I interview you?" While elsewhere, Carly tells Jason, if Brick had shown up 5 minutes later, Sunny would be dead. She's obviously telling him how Brick, cool as a cucumber, gunned down the mysterious nurse who tried to inject something into Sunny's IV line. Willow cautiously enters a room and seems shocked at what she's looking at. Does she find Drew and Jacinda in a compromising position? Considering the teasers also state that Willow has an unpleasant homecoming, our money's on that. Drop your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you agree or disagree? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more updates. Your opinions matter, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you.